a big hello and welcome to my show UnBound. I'm your host Mamtaa, a space curated for people from different walks of life who have sailed through uncharted waters. And they are here with us to take a deep dive into their personal journey so we can find our inspiration and nuggets of wisdom. So let's get started and unravel, unearth and uncover a story of an absolute unstoppable human who has dared to achieve the unthinkable. Come, let's unbound together. Founder of India's leading gifting company that has over 1 million happy customers, Varun Todi is here to make the world a happy place with his startup, Oye Happy. With his recent appearance on India's reality TV entrepreneurship-based show Shark Tank, he not only proved his creative mettle, but actually gave a glimpse of his witty side to the nation too. And today, I have the privilege of hosting this very invincible and innovative human as he recently surprised the nation, outwitting the sharks in his inimitable style. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, let's welcome Varun Todi. Hi Varun, welcome to my show UnBound.
Thank you, Mamtaa. It's great to be here. It's also my first podcast. I'm very excited to be on this. Usually all the interviews have been over emails, has been written communications. It's glad to be on a podcast for the first time.
Absolutely, and we are more thrilled. So tell us, Varun, let's just start from, let's say, Oye Happy. In the first place, why the name Oye Happy?
It's an exciting name. See, we wanted everything in the business to be exciting. So there's no insight or story behind it. We just wanted something very exciting and catchy sounding, and Oye Happy just connected with both of us a lot.
All right. Synonymous with unique and personalized gift ideas to naughty games. What really lies beneath this idea, Varun? And you really have to spill the beans today.
So funnily, this question was asked on Shark Tank as well, and they cut the response because it's like a 1-hour conversation cut into a 15-minute episode. But the honest answer to this is my business partner's idea, because he wanted to, flirt with his girlfriend at that time, figure out a way of making her like him. And he didn't have any ideas of his own. So he went to the market, he found the flowers, the cake, the paraphernalia. But he wanted to do something more personalized, something more cuter to win her over. That's when he came to me. So what I planned for him worked out very well, because he's happily married now to the same girl. But it also got us thinking that, hey, there are a lot of clueless and silly men like him all across the country and the world who want to do amazing and unique things for their loved ones, but they don't really have the ideas out there to do something amazing. So why not turn this into a business model? And as Marwadis, if there's any scope of making money out of something, we love the idea of it. So we piloted this out. It was a big success, and just organically, this is where we are today.
So how old were both of you really? And are you really telling us the true story, or should I take your business partner in? Was it his girlfriend or your girlfriend?
No, so see, we both tried it out. Okay, so he tried it out first. I also tried it on my girlfriend at that time, and it was just really exciting because for us it was instant validation from the people that we were in love. So it was like, hey, if we could be liked by someone because of these beautiful gestures, then the entire world's out there.
Super. So tell me right from the start, tell me about your family, your background. Of course, you come from a Marwari family, but tell us about your family structure, who has been there in your family, and did they have any idea that you were setting yourself out to do something like this?
See, if I start naming the family members, I think this podcast will get over, because I come from a joint family, and there are like lots of people. So I've grown up in Assam, at a village in Assam. Even like every language in our school was taught in Assamese. It was an English medium though. So for us, growing up, I never really considered I'll start my own business, especially in a metro city like Bangalore or Hyderabad. So it's all been a surprise for me as well, to be the business of surprises. It's all happened very automatically and quite extraordinarily for me and the family as well. So so Harsh, who happens to be my cousin, he approached with the idea that, hey, I want to surprise my girlfriend, and then we help each other out. It started as a hobby business because we'd never really considered this to become a full-fledged business of its own. We thought it's a great opportunity to have some fun, but we never really took it as a business till the number of calls were just too many for us to handle. between ourselves, because the few people that we did help out in that phase was out of love and passion for surprises and happiness. It was never a business model because he had his own job, I had my own job. But one thing led to another. It was like a relationship. It just fell into place. But yeah, for my family did they ever expect that I'll get into an e-commerce business and start selling naughty games, which honestly was quite a scandal because that wasn't for the TV. My parents had no clue that this is also something that we specialize in. So it was quite amusing, and thankfully I was not with them when the Shark Tank was aired. They were in Assam, in Hyderabad, so thank God for that.
So till the time you came on the national TV, they had no idea that you had this line of product as well. Oh my God.
No. And the fact that it became the highlight of the show made it a lot more entertaining and amusing. Especially because a place like Assam, everybody talks, it's a small community. So it just spread like wildfire. And they were asking my dad that did you know that these guys were actually into this? And we had no clue. But end of the day, I go back to that point that we are a Marwari family and business is something that's very close and passionate to us. So as long as making money, I guess you're all right.
All right. So tell me about your parents. Tell me about your siblings a little bit.
So my parents, my sibling and my wife, these four are my biggest inspiration because they are the most hardworking people that I know. I'm the least successful and least hardworking of them all. My dad runs his own tea estate in Assam, which is like a lot of hard work. My mom, she's not just a homemaker, but she runs her own old age home in Assam, where there are like 35 people right now. And she's built an ecosystem of her own within that ashram. So people, they grow their own food, they help each other out in making their own things, they set up their own health camps. So the way she's set up this entire system is just very beautiful and self-sustaining. Because there's no support from the government. Everything is done by her own efforts and initiatives. My brother runs a very successful company out of Bangalore. She's in a sports management company. My wife also works in a unicorn, and she's been a part of the core teams in the last few years. So these guys, so just looking at them, it's very inspiring. The things that they've achieved, the places that they've reached. So for me, it's if I'm ever down or low, it's just watching these guys work is inspiration enough for me to push myself and do better.
Awesome. You actually ate into my next question. Who is your inspiration? You just gave me all of that on its own. So how come so much disruption of all the things? While of course it's understandable that you were there to, solve a problem, but actually is this disruption mind is something that you have been always? Were you always cut out to do things in creative and disruptive way? Can you trace back certain patterns?
So I think the first sign that I am not meant to walk the path that my dad walked, for instance, is the fact that I joined my first job as a copywriter in Bangalore. No one in my family is creative. No one in my family has ever written anything apart from checks. So it was just a very, very, unique profile to have taken. And I was just enamored by the whole culture of advertising and copywriting. And I was just blown away by how beautiful this whole industry is. My family was very supportive because end of the day was making me happy. And that's what really mattered to them, thankfully. So I think that was probably a stepping stone, that my love for writing is what has been very important into building Oye Happy what it is, because a lot of our product also is very content intensive. Because end of the day, if you're dealing with emotions, you're expressing a lot. And content plays a very crucial role in making that expression happen. And I personally believe, after having looked at a lot of products out there, our greeting cards, our letters, some of our content-based products are generally very beautiful. So I take a lot of credit for that. And, and it also gives a lot of confidence that, hey, what I played around as a child is something which is being loved by people beyond just copywriting in ads. So disruption was never a goal or an objective that, hey, I'm going to do something very unique, right? It just happened. It's one thing leads to another. I have not studied in the B school. I have not really been a part of any organization before. It's just observing, seeing what works out, and then capitalizing on it better every day.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, as much humility he'd like to say it, but of course he's a born talent and we can give it to him for that. All right. So coming to the next question, what have been in that case some of your biggest challenges or fears? Because see, when people are not going the beaten track, be it in families or societies, usually there's some bit of backlash, criticism or judgments that come your way. Have you how have you dealt with them? And what have been some of those kind of challenges or your own inherent fears that you had to conquer while being on this way to unbound in life?
So, see, I'm gonna break it down into two parts. As an entrepreneur, there's of course the external challenges, and there are internal challenges, which are challenges with self. So, when it comes to external challenges, there's a new challenge every day. Especially when you're growing a business, it's be it about hiring a new team, starting a new business line, being profitable, growing as a business. It's been a whole barrage of challenges from where we started to where we are today. But that's what makes it an exciting journey. So no complaints about that. But we were fairly conscious of the fact that if we grow as a business, we are going to face a ton of challenges that we would have never anticipated. And that's the journey of every entrepreneur or any individual who tries to do something different in you. So I don't have anything extraordinary to add there. I've faced my share of challenges. But the impact it has on self, the internal challenges that we're talking about, I think dealing with is definitely a very important part of everyone's character. How you evolve as a person really depends upon how well you are equipped to deal with those challenges. Personally, I think my biggest tool in maneuvering my way through challenges is self-awareness. I have, in the last few years especially, I have tried not to be in denial of anything going wrong, whether internally or externally. And I think acceptance is always the first step towards solving a problem, no matter what the nature of it or the size of it. So that's I think has probably been the easiest mantra that I've followed, that if something's going wrong, I need to embrace it, and then everything just falls into place because you've noticed the problem, and then problems have a tendency to solve themselves once you're aware that they exist.
Wow. Nobody can do a wordplay with you, for sure. But tell me about how has it been growing up? Like, were there any certain things that came in your way to be where you are today? I mean, it could be even patterns. It could be something as small as being a disciplined person or a very methodical person. So have you really gone past these kind of patterns or habits to be where you are today?
No, I think I've changed a lot as a person. I think, a few core values or core interests have remained intact, like my love for reading or my love for writing. But I used to be a very, very lazy person growing up. I would hate studies. I would hate discipline. And I think I've had to change a lot of it now because you can't run a business if you're too lazy as a person. I think just my attraction to innovation as a child is something which has really stuck around. I think that's the only pattern that I can see that I've always been, and even today. I mean, if I see someone doing something new or something exciting, I'm really glad that it still makes me excited. That it's not something that has faded over with time, like so many things do. Yeah, I think creativity is something which has always had a appeal for me, and that has stuck around.
At UnBound, we believe in the power of unhinged minds and untamed ideas of people from all walks of life. As we sit down to talk with some of them, we are listening to your voice as well. So share your thoughts, ideas, or takeaways from this podcast as a review on Apple Podcasts, or just drop us a message on Instagram @unboundwithmamtaa, UnboundwithMamtaa. You can also mail us at unboundwithmamtaa, unboundwithmamtaa@gmail.com. And remember to subscribe and follow this podcast and stay connected with us.
Some of the vices that have come in your way or detractors which have totally taken you away from your focus or your goal, those kind of things happen to you?
It happens with all of us. I mean, you yourself are running such a successful podcast, and I'm sure in the process of putting it all together, you must have walked through a series of vices yourself. But talking in my context, look, there are, again, like I said, there are a lot of external factors that I've spoken about, but things like fear of failure. Should I do it? If it is successful, how would I feel about myself? What would my team feel about me? What would my family see me as? What would the investors think of me if it is unsuccessful? The internal conflicts are just a forever part of life. And I think they're very important because the more you question yourself, the more unconfident. I won't say lack of confidence is a bad thing necessarily, because it makes you cautious in your journey. So I think as vices make you waver your decisions, you become more conscious, you become a lot more aware, you become a lot more careful of the steps that you take. And I think the vices are very important tools in making sure you make fewer mistakes.
Yeah, to keep you in check.
Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing wrong in having all of these feelings, as long as you don't let them overwhelm you.
Do you have a tool or a mechanism to bounce back whenever you are, let's say, overwhelmed or really swarmed with these kind of thoughts or questions or doubts? Is there a way for you to clear your lens quickly and show up again?
See, the most important step here, Mamtaa, which applies to me, I'm not sure about, where that's something that no one's ever asked me before. So to talk about this loud, I don't think about bouncing back. I think it's unfair. If you're overwhelmed, if you're feeling very low, if it is something too much for you, then bouncing back is not possible. And even if you do, then it is just temporary. Then you've just ignored everything thrown at you by life, and you're trying to show a new face to the world and to yourself, which is probably not very true to yourself, I feel. So when I feel overwhelmed, I let it be. So I first, like I told you, that I'm self-aware that yes, things are wrong, and I'm going to take it slow. I'm going to sulk, I'm going to whine, I'm going to be depressed, but I'm going to be conscious about all of these feelings. That it is okay to feel all of this, that I'm not in that phase of mind to bounce back right now. It's absolutely all right. So it's okay for me to mull over these problems. It's okay for me to not go to work for a while, to work really less for a while, to just eat my torments away and cry my torments away and all of that. But eventually, when these feelings tend to fade, right, it's after every dark evening, there will be a happy morning, right? So you just have to give it time. So I do believe in giving it time. I do not get very bogged down that how can I feel this way? That the world depends on me. I need to bounce back. I think it's unfair to self.
That's a very, very beautiful thing that you have indeed put through, because I think in this whole hustle of making it happen, people just take everything too personally, and very seldom do we really, the way you just said it, that embrace yourself, give yourself to even bandage your own wounds and say that it's okay that I'm not okay, and I'm going to let this be and process it the way that I will. I'm really glad that you brought in this point. It is where nowadays what we talk about mental health or emotional health, I think these are all the underlying layers to that. So very, very beautifully said. Thanks indeed, Varun, for that. Have you ever sort of done your own SWOT, like a quick thing on what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what are my opportunities, what is that I fear or really afraid of, or I can't face it in the do you kind of know yourself at that level?
I think that keeps evolving with age. My strengths are different now than they were before. My weaknesses are no more my weaknesses that they were a few months ago or years ago. So I think internal dialogue is a continuous process. So it's not from the context of, hey, I'm going to do my own SWOT analysis right now. It's more of having a dialogue with self for over any topic, good or bad.
So what is your way? Do you do self-talk? Do you meditate? Do you go out for a walk? Is there a Zen sort of a corner that you have where you just go and, you know it that everything will be fine once you walk in, and then walk out of there, you're like a completely refreshed, rejuvenated person? Are there those kind of things that you have around in your environment?
So I would really like to have a process. Now that you mentioned it, and I need to really consider that, hey, it will be great to have a process. It will be great to have a handbook that this is, but I do not. I do not have a pattern or a process at all. And maybe I should reach out to you after this to, maybe you can guide me through this.
We love it. All right. So movies, travels, interactions, shows, what influences you or your decision-making or perspectives in life?
All of them. I love traveling, but then everybody loves traveling. But yes, traveling is something that really makes me work hard, because that means that I get a well-deserved and well-earned vacation for myself, which I keep gifting myself as frequently as I can. I watch a lot of movies. I was just doing a binge watching of all Yash Raj movies lately. So I watched Dari yesterday, I watched Silsila. I watched a full paraphernalia of Yash Raj and the Chopra movies. So it's everything. If anything that's entertaining out there, I love to be a part of it. Oye Happy is the part of my life. It is my profession. It is a significant but not an overwhelming part of my life. There's so much more to who I am as a person. And all of these kind of interconnect, right? My passions kind of flow over a lot of facets. So yes, inspiration and joy I find in a lot of things. All those 4 examples you mentioned, they are a part of it.
All right. What about books? Which are some of the current reads? What do you like to read?
I'm right now into sci-fi. I love fiction. I do not write because I so much have internal dialogue myself. I don't like non-fiction where I don't want to hear somebody else's thoughts. Like I have enough of my own. So, but fiction is something I'm a sucker for. So, a lot of fantasy. Fiction. Right now I'm reading a trilogy called The 3-Body Problem. If you are into sci-fi and fantasy of any form, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever read. It's like the godfather of Asimov.
Who is it by?
It's a Chinese author, so I can't pronounce his name.
Okay. Do send me a screenshot.
Definitely share it with you.
All right. So coming to our next round of questions, what keeps your fire burning? Is there something that just keeps you going day in and day out? Like something that you really look forward to and jumpstart your day with?
I love working out, not from a bodybuilding point of view because I'm still very lanky, but that's something that I look forward to a lot. I love my gym. I love my swimming after that. I love a good, maybe a spa session after that. So I love self-care. I do not need people to give me a good time. I think I'm pretty self-content like that.
Guys, so now you know why he has his company named as Oye Happy. The happiness begins with you. Take care of yourself, make yourself happy, and that is when you can come back to Oye Happy to give all the happy gifts to the world around you. All right, one big learning, Varun, that COVID has been personally for you.
Cooking is not that difficult. I was petrified when COVID struck. For 2 days, we ate Maggie. My wife she's never been to the kitchen. She just has no clue what the kitchen looks like. And it was a very, very terrifying moment for us that what are we going to do for food? And that was the first time I started picking up cooking skills. And in a couple of weeks, I was bloody amazing at it. So I think that has been like my biggest learning during COVID, that hey, cooking is a lot of fun and I'm bloody good at it.
Super. Your mantra to deal with failures and mistakes in life?
Move on.
All right. So with that, we have come almost to the last leg of the show. And it is my personal favorite, the rapid reflex round. You need to answer these questions in not more than one word or maybe a sentence. So are you ready for this, Varun?
Do I get a hamper in the end?
Well, we'll place an order from Oye Happy.
Yeah. Yes, please, go ahead.
All right, let's get started. One thing you would like to change about our education system?
Examination. There are too many of them.
All right, one thing you wish parents never said to their children?
आगे का क्या सोचा है?
One thing you wish people never gifted each other?
Gift cards.
All right, the naughtiest gift you have ever received or given. I'm not going to ask to whom or from whom, but the naughtiest gift you have ever given or received.
I made that gift myself.
Okay. One thing you wish you knew at the age of 20?
It'll be okay.
One thing you would certainly like to unlearn?
Pythagoras theorem.
You start your day with?
Working out.
Your daily diet includes?
Fruits for sure.
You end your day with?
Some snuggle and a little bit of cuddles.
Gifts should be?
Personalized.
And people must?
Smile a lot more.
All right, with that, you have truly come unbound, Varun. Thanks so much for sharing your joy and your journey with us. And on the parting note, I would just like to say that you may stay the happiest self and your life be the most beautiful gift for all those around you. Keep shining, keep making this world a better place with your work and your being, Varun. Thank you so much to be on the show today.
Thank you, Mamtaa. It was a lot of fun. And I didn't know podcasts could be so much fun. I'd do a lot more from now.
Wishing you an unbounded success.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I would love to know from you what idea or insight you unboxed from today's conversation. Just drop me a message over LinkedIn or in my inbox, and remember to follow this podcast so that when the next episode drops, you can join me for yet another one too. Keep coming and keep unbounding. Till then, this is your host Mamtaa signing off.